What is up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're checking out this case right here. This is the Fractal design mood, so let's go ahead and take a look. Now to start off, there are going to be two different colorways of this case to start out. So we have the black version here. It's also going to be available in a light gray color. For me, the black version is more of a dark gray version, as most of the case is going to be this dark gray. And then we have black accents on the top and bottom of the case. When it comes to the actual size of the case, as you can see, it is pretty small. Now I'll go ahead and put the official dimensions up on the screen here like I always do. Now this is going to be a 20.4 liter case, and it's going to weigh in at just over 10 pounds without any hardware inside. Now as far as the shape, this is more or less shaped almost exactly like an Xbox Series X. The really interesting thing about the design of this case is that Fractal has wrapped the case on three sides with this double layered textured fabric. So it really makes this look like a speaker sitting on your desk as opposed to like your PC, which I really like. It's going to really help this kind of blend into your setup, which I'm definitely a fan of. Now this fabric isn't necessarily super thick or anything like that, so it should allow the case to breathe and get proper airflow. On the front of the case towards the bottom, you'll find a small Fractal design logo, as well as your connections and buttons. There's a combination headphone microphone jack, a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type-C port, large power button, and two USB 3.0 Type-A ports. The back of the case is the only side that doesn't have fabric on it. Instead, you have a normal panel with large ventilation holes and a larger Fractal design logo towards the bottom. The top of the case is all ventilated. That's because of the large 180mm fan mounted at the top of the case. We'll get a better look at it once we get inside. Getting in this case is really easy. So here we are at the back, and the first thing you want to do is just simply pull on this back panel, and it's going to go ahead and easily unlock. And as you can see, we actually have a filter on this back panel. This is a magnetic filter, and it easily slides right out. It makes it really easy to clean, but you can also just run this case without the filter if you want better performance. With the back panel removed, we need to remove two screws. So there's one here and one here. So let's go ahead and take those out. When you remove those screws, that unlocks the entire three panel section of the case. So all you have to do really is just pull up on it, and it comes right off. Super easy to get in this case. And this is sort of like on a rail system. So I've reviewed a few cases that are in this same design that have like a three panel system like this. And sometimes they're really hard to get lined up or anything like that. This easily, like I said, take it off and you can easily go ahead and put it right back on. With all the panels removed, we can get a better idea of how the inside of the case is designed. The back of the case, where we initially removed the first panel, will house your graphics card. This is made possible, of course, by a PCIe riser cable. As far as graphics cards go, the Mood will support a 2-slot graphics card up to 325mm in length. Moving over to the opposite side, you'll first find a cooling bracket as well as a hard drive cage. The hard drive cage does support either a 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch hard drive. Now, in order to make full use of the cooling bracket, you'll have to remove the hard drive cage. So it is a sacrifice if you want to fully populate it with fans or an all-in-one liquid CPU cooler. The cooling bracket is fully removable from the case and will support up to two 120 or two 140mm fans, as well as radiators up to 280mm. There is a max width of 148mm on your radiator and fan combo. With the cooling bracket removed, we can see where we're going to mount our SFX or SFXL power supply and our mini ITX motherboard. Your power supply will be mounted at the top of the case while your motherboard will be closer to the bottom. We can also see how the PCIe riser is routed between the two sides of the case. Fractal has also routed a power extension cable inside the case so you can easily connect power to the system from the bottom. Taking a closer look at the fan, it's a very large 180mm fan that's 38mm thick, which is set in an exhaust position. It's Fractal's Dynamic X2 GP18, which is a PWM fan that will spin between 300 and 1200 RPM with a max airflow between 44.9 and 153.7 CFM and a max noise level between 16 and 35.4 dBA. If you planned on making full use of the cooling bracket, you would have to remove that hard drive cage. So you do get some extra hard drive options. So there are optional brackets. This is the 2.5-inch bracket. So all you would have to do is you install your 2.5-inch SSD on this side, you flip it around, and then you line up your grooves here, and you just press it in, and it locks into the side of the case. Super easy to do. The second hard drive bracket is the 0.5-inch bracket, or that's what Fractal is calling it. I have it right here, and it actually gets installed on the top section of the case. So I've actually gone ahead and removed the top fan. Super easy to do, just 4 screws, and you can pull it right off. Now you'll go ahead and install your 2.5-inch SSD right in here. There are mounting holes on each side. Super easy to do, and then all you do is you just line up your grooves, just like this, and then you just press it in, and you'll be good to go. Obviously, because it's where the fan mount is, it will interrupt your cooling just a bit, so definitely keep that in mind. But if you were making use of the side cooling bracket and you remove that hard drive cage, this case will support up to two 2.5-inch SSDs. When it came to my installation, things were actually really easy. I always dread doing small form factor builds because they're just a pain to do a lot of the times. Things, you just feel like you don't have enough space. But with all of the panels removed, installing everything was really easy. Motherboard went in no problem, graphics card went in no problem, connecting everything was actually really easy. The only thing that I did notice is that Fractal didn't use the standard header connector for mini ITX motherboards. They had single connectors specifically. So I actually had to go on my phone and look up the user manual for my mini ITX motherboard to see where to connect those headers. Having the standard connector would have just made things a lot easier. So here's what my build looks like before we go ahead and put all the panels back on. Like I said, really easy to build in this. And again, everything just has its place. Nothing was really out of place. We did an air-cooled build, so we didn't do any AIO installation, but because that cooling bracket is removable, I would assume that AIO installation would be pretty easy as well. When you power on the system, you will see RGB lighting if you do have it on your motherboard or on your CPU cooler or on your memory on the front side, and then on the back side, you'll see RGB lighting if you do have it on your graphics card. All of your connections do come out of the back of the case on the bottom. So you will have to kind of put the system on its side and connect everything. And again, if you need to connect anything down the line, you'll have to do that as well. Here's what the system looks like on my desk. As you can see, it doesn't take up any space at all. And with all the cables being routed out the back, we don't have any cable mess either. When it comes to testing, we're gonna be testing both temperatures and noise levels. So here's a breakdown of our test system. As we come to the end here, I have to say that I'm really impressed with Fractal design. They've sort of built out this niche of cases that don't look like your standard PC case. While I have all of this RGB back here, not everybody wants that, and I think a lot of people just want a sleek and elegant case that's gonna look good sitting on their desk. And the mood, I think, is definitely that. They have this really cool design with this fabric exterior that really makes it look like a speaker, and I definitely like that. Now, of course, this is a small form factor system, and the biggest thing that I look for small form factor systems is how easy is this to build in. And this is actually super easy to build in. It's really easy to remove the panels. Once I was doing my install, I didn't feel like I didn't have space or anything like that. Everything was very straightforward, so I definitely like that. As far as cooling goes, it's obviously gonna depend on what you have installed in here and the cooling that you choose. The single fan does do a good job. I would of course advise adding more fans, and for the most part, I think if you're doing a high-end build, I would definitely advise doing a liquid cooled build in here. And again, you can support up to a 280 millimeter AIO in here, which is definitely nice as well. So overall, this is a great small form factor system for people who just want something that's going to look elegant on their desk, and of course is really easy to install in as well. Now, Fractal will be selling this for $149.99, which I think is a very fair price. So if you have any questions about the Mood, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next video.